We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. There's Jose Abreu, Alexi Ramirez, Adam Dunn in the Sox as they get set to butt heads with John Gibbons, Toronto Blue Jays. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the first of this 3-game set and the first of the 6-game homestand. 3 with these guys and finish it off with 3 against Baltimore. So the Sox coming off that 6-game road trip where we were 2-4. And tonight, Robin's going to send a guy out to the mound. Last time out was the best he's been in a White Sox uniform.
Hector Nuese just keeps on getting better. And against Seattle last time, he went 7 1/3 innings, not giving up any earned runs. Got the ball over the plate, and as you can see, the last 4 quality starts. He's 3-1 with a 3.18 ERA, and it's a matter of confidence. Right now, he is brimming with it. And hopefully tonight against Toronto, he can look exactly as he did last time out, because he had everything going.
Well, on the other side of that diamond, the Blue Jays have brought a 3-game losing streak to town with them.
The Blue Jays are having problems scoring runs. Their offense has been a big problem, but they're all back reassembled here tonight. As you can see, over the last 12, 3-9, the batting average is .236. They've averaged 2.5 runs a game. That's not going to get it done. And as you can see, the ERA is way up there. So with Edwin Encarnacion back in the lineup, it's got to help him, because lately nobody has been getting the job done. And it doesn't really matter who they send up there. And this team now is 7.5 games back of Baltimore. If they don't start hitting the baseball, they're not going to be in it, even for a wild card. They realize that, and they know now with Encarnacion, it's time to make their move.
All right, the first of 3 with these guys. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T U-verse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field on Country Music Night at the old ballpark. And let's take a look at how John Gibbons is going to line up his Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Reyes leading it off with Melky Cabrera in the 2 spot. Then Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion back in the lineup after 6 weeks. Adam Lind, Yonder Navarro, Colby Rasmus, Danny Valencia, and Yuniori Kawasaki rounded out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Hector Nuese. Piazza, Denks, and Viciedo in the outfield with Gillespie, Ramirez, Beckham, and Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Hector Nuese. Coming off 4 very strong ball games. His record now 6-8, his ERA 4.67, but it is slowly sinking as he gets a lot more confidence and throwing the ball well. The umpires for the game this evening: Tim Welke, the crew chief behind the plate, Todd Tishner's at first, Clint Fagan at second, and Tim Timmons is at third. So we're ready for baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stevie, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. First of 3 against these Blue Jays, as Jose Reyes, switch hitting shortstop, will lead it off. And first pitch of the ball game, taken for a strike.
I can certainly hope that Hector gets that one all evening.
And that's inside, 1-1. Blue Jays come in hitting at .261 as a team with a 4.07 ERA. Toronto 4 games over at 63 and 59. They are 30 and 33 on the road, 33 and 26. And this is the 5th meeting of the year between these 2 teams. And the first 4, our Sox have won 3 of them.
Reyes has swiped 22, been caught twice, as John Gibbons hoping he starts it off on base. Conversely, Hector Nuese realizes if you keep Reyes off base, you can take away a huge portion of their running game. One of their best runners, Anthony Gose, was sent down to the minor leagues to make room for Encarnacion, whose right leg is still not 100%. That's the reason he's the DH tonight.
And there's a base hit. Thanks. We'll get over, cut it off, get it in. So he is 22 for 24 in stolen bases. Another switch hitter, Melky Cabrera. Cabrera at 314, 14 homers and 63 driven in.
And Melky, like Reyes, much better hitter from the left side.
Pretty good lead by Reyes as that pitch is popped up, and that is going to be playable. So 1 down.
Last time we saw these Blue Jays, the man you're looking at, Jose Reyes, was not in the lineup. And as you can see, still having Bautista rather, you can see he's having a very good year with an on-base percentage of .409. That leads the American League, which for a power hitter is a good trick.
He made only 1 appearance pinch hitting in that series. But again, like we talked about, it's not who you play, it's when you play. When we're playing good, I don't care who we play. When we're playing bad, I don't care who we play. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. Two 2-0 the count, with Encarnacion on deck.
Bautista has grounded into 15 double plays this year. And there's the man they desperately missed for the better part of 6 weeks.
'33-year-old veteran. 54 home runs in 2010. 43 in 2011. And that's foul back and a souvenir. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center field. And just a gorgeous evening here in the city. Beautiful, not a cloud in the sky.
Good pitch to run on for John Gibbons, if he so chooses. Reyes has not had a particularly big lead.
So they'll put 2 on with 1 out. And bring up Encarnacion, hitting at .277, 26 homers and 70 driven in.
And normally Encarnacion runs well enough. Only ground into 10 double plays this year. But right now, with a right leg that's still not 100%, if he hits the ball on the ground, it should be 2.
That's foul back, and that's going to be in the seats.
When Edwin was with Cincinnati, he showed flashes of power. Hit 26 home runs in 2008. But then going to Toronto, 42 home runs in 2012, 36 last year, 110, 104 runs batted in respectively.
Well, he does a lot of good things up there at the plate that home run hitters do. For the most part, you got some with different kind of actions, but he is short and quick. Keeps the bat in front of him, and he can hit with short arms. There's a strike.
That was a perfect pitch. Looked like a little cutter or slider, and he threw it down and away. Couldn't be much better than that. You saw the tight spin and the perfect position. Edwin only had 4 games on his rehab, and he said one of the reasons he had to come back was that his team was starting to fall out of it. They're 3.5 games out of the wild card, 3 games out of the second wild card position, and averaging 2.5 runs a game in August. He realized that the time for him to come back was now. 100% or not 100%.
Well, there are times when an important piece of the puzzle, like a Bautista, would miss that series against us up there, the 4 games, with the exception of 1 at bat. And then on Encarnacion, even if they're not 100%, it changes the whole complexion, the whole personality of that lineup.
Well, you still got to worry about it, especially this guy when he's even remotely healthy. Pretty good swing at the fastball. It was up in the zone, out over the plate, and he fouled it straight back.
Well, the big hurt, Frank Thomas. I've said this many times, and Sox fans have heard it. The thing I'll always remember about him is him playing hurt. He played and he never alibied, never said anything about it. But he also played hurt when he shouldn't have been in there, but he knew his presence meant a whole difference in that lineup. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it.
You see the 7 pop up. Could have gone either way. It went Encarnacion's way.
Reyes and Bautista. Reyes with outstanding speed. And Gibbons. Now Beckham's going to try to go over. And he gone. 2 down.
Well, he certainly helped Hector out that time. That pitch was up and out of the strike zone. Would have loaded him up with only 1 out for a guy hitting .319 and Adam Lind. But a little anxious to maybe show his presence in the lineup early. And he expands his zone and goes down on strikes. Big out.
Then with those 4 homers and 27 driven in. And there's Coop. Didn't make the trip with us. Still not 100%.
Certainly good to have him around, and I know Hector Nuese gives him a whole lot of credit for a resurgence that Hector's experiencing these days.
Well, let's face it, Hector was on the downslide. Our club picked him up. Now he's on the upswing, and it is because of Don Cooper. If he hadn't worked here with the White Sox, he probably, good chance he would have been out of baseball. Two on, 2 out to 1-1. And there's a little booper. It's going to fall for a base hit. So they'll score at Reyes, and it's a 1-0 Toronto lead. There is a prototype duck snore.
RBI 28 for Adam Lind. Doesn't get a whole lot of this one, but gets enough of it. And for a long time, they were without both Encarnacion and Lind. Lind came back about a series ago. They missed both of them.
Now, in years past, bench jockeys would have been screaming from the dugout, spend some meal money, Adam. But no more.
Nope.
Here's a guy who's really hurt us. Yonder Navarro, switch hitter.
What the hitter would usually say in those situations is, I hit it like he threw it. Softly.
That's what the comeback was. 0-2 the count.
Navarro also better from the left side, and with runners in scoring position, he's been especially good.
That's one thing that I'm really sorry about for the youngsters in today's game who come to the ballpark, watch the highlights on TV at home and everything, that they never had a chance to experience the bench jockeys. That was an art. I mean, we had a guy on the Kansas City team, and that's the only reason really he was on the club, because he was the best bench jockey in the American League. That's out of play. Souvenir right side.
I'm not too sure why that one actually went away, because it was nothing. There was no rules made about it. I mean,
no,
it just kind of
free agency pushed
away.
it out. When free agency came in, it sort of pushed bench jockeys out and bench jockeying. Picked by Tyler. So this will be the 27th pitch thrown this inning. And Jess got a piece of that one.
Tanner Navarro was with the Cubs last year, where he hit 300, hit 13 home runs. That's pretty decent production.
He had a couple of those against us.
Yeah, he was pretty tough.
Softly hit, a little free hopper, but they pick up a run on a duck snort. Adam Lind, and after happening to play, it's Blue Jays 1 and the good guys coming to bat.
Our Sox for the game tonight. Alejandro Diaz leading it off with Lexi Ramirez in the 2 spot. Then Jose Abreu, Adam Dunn, and Viciedo. Connor Gillespie, Tyler Flowers behind the plate with Jordan Danks in center, and Gordon Beckham at second base hitting 9. The defense, and how they'll line up behind young Marcus Stroman. Cabrera, Rasmus, and Bautista in the outfield with Valencia, Reyes, Kawasaki, and Lynn in the infield. Tanner Navarro behind the plate. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is a very talented young Marcus Stroman. This is 14th start, his 19th game. He's 7-3 with an ERA of 3.34. He's got 3 very good pitches, especially that overhand curve that we saw. Went to Duke University, and what we saw of him in Toronto, he has a bright, bright future.
Some of the best right-handed stuff in the American League, what we saw in Toronto.
Yeah, it was, unless it was a great day, and he's had a number of them this year. They have found a top of the rotation starter.
And they actually signed him as potential closer. 5'9", 185 pounds. All you youngsters out there who don't have a lot of size, aspire to be a major league player, you can get here if you can play. They come in all sizes and shapes for this beautiful game. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Diaz takes first pitch, strike out at 94. Alejandro hitting at 244, 5 homers, 30 knocked in. Sox hitting at 256 as a club with a 4.37 team ERA.
There's a couple of very interested young fans with excellent seats.
And that got the mask of Diana.
Since last time we saw them, they brought up a young pitcher that they believe is also going to be a top of the rotation guy, but now he's in the bullpen. His name is Aaron Sanchez. Those 97, 98, They want to limit his innings. That's why they're not starting him. But we probably will see him out of the pen before this series is over. And apparently his stuff is the equal of Stroman's, maybe a little bit better.
Seems like every couple of years that MPH goes up in 1 or 2 miles an hour.
It has been.
There's a shot. He turned that 94-mile-an-hour around in a heartbeat, so he's going to make the turn. He just did get the bag at first. Picks up his 16th two-bagger.
Stroman tried to get it inside and couldn't get it in there far enough. Alejandro turns on it, and it's the daylights out of it. And we'll take a look at Alejandro around first base. Off balance, but coast in the second.
That'll bring up Alexei, hitting at 286, 11 homers, and 58 driven in. Takes first pitch strike.
Well, the Blue Jays believe there's no way that Alexei can pull the ball against Stroman. That might not exactly be true, but Reyes is playing up the middle. There's a huge gap on the left side. And it's Reyes who is paying attention to Diaz at second.
Yeah, and they're thinking that Alexei is going to try to move him over.
.287 with runners in scoring position, but 8 of his last 13, so he's getting hotter. And those 58 runs batted in, pretty good number, has elevated him to the 2 spot.
That hit him. Just the 3rd player that Stroman has hit.
Unfortunately, it did not get that padding on the elbow. It looked like it hit below the padding and maybe right on the wrist. He's checking the outside of the left hand.
Yeah, they're going to get some x-rays on that. In a hurry.
Yeah, it got the, looked like the bony part of the left hand.
I'll tell you, for a guy that lanky, he's one of the toughest players you ever want to see. He's got durability. And he says he's all right.
Now, durability is never been questioned with Alexei because he wants to play every day. Even sometimes when he probably could use a day, he still wants to play. And he stays in. We'll just have to see as we move along if that thing gets a little more sore than it is now.
So here's Abreu. 2 on, nobody out. He was 1 for 3 off Stroman up in Toronto. And he takes first pitch strike right there at 92. Alexei has always amazed me. Just his stamina, how much durability he has. When he gets drilled like that, he never comes out of a game.
A certain amount of comfort that any manager has with a player when he knows when the manager comes to the park, he can just write the player's name. You don't have to ask him, you don't have to check with anybody. You write his name in each and every day, and that's what Robin has with Alexei. And that's the way he's been since he came into the league.
Well, it's not talked about a lot, but there's some managers who, when they get to the ballpark early, there's some managers actually have to make out 2 lineup calls
just to see who comes in and says, I can't go tonight.
Because he knows that he feels, he senses that 1 or 2 guys might come in there and say, hey, I don't feel real good today. Just got a piece of that. In fact, a former Giant player told me that when he was with them, they had 2 lineup cards posted every day. Posted, not just made up. One with Bonds and one without Bonds. The 1-2 pitch. That's the ball.
And Stroman is looking at Tim Welke saying, why? It looked like
left foot back.
Yeah, he came to a set and then moved. Once you come to a set, you got to come to the plate.
Watch his left foot.
There's a set. Nope. You can see it break. You can see it break, and as soon as you do that, it's a balk.
Now, first option would be obviously a base hit. Next option would be a ground ball right side. Get 1 in and 1 over. And if he goes to the right side, good chance it's going to be a base hit.
With Kawasaki as up the middle as he is, there's not a whole lot of coverage on that right side.
And there it is. Good job right there. That is just a terrific approach by El Hombre, the man, Jose Abreu. Game tied at 1.
87 driven in for the big man. And that slider low and away. It was off the plate. But run producers, when there are runs to be produced, go outside the zone on occasion. And he did just that, taking it into right field.
Even the great Ted Williams, who the first thing he would always tell you, the secret to hitting is getting a good pitch to hit. Okay, that's number 1. But he would also tell you got to take your walks. But the third thing is, he said, if you're a run producer, sometimes you got to get outside that zone.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did, knowing that that pitch was perfect to take the way he wanted to take it. And Pete Walker came out, had a talk with Stroman, who's in a jam here with nobody out, runners at the corners in the first inning.
Adam hitting at .222, 19 homers, 47 knocked in. Takes ball 1. Yeah, that was just a beautiful approach right there.
Joe McEwing was pointing over at Jose Abreu. Take a look where the outfielders are. They are way back, straight away. And he wanted him to take a look. And he's telling Alexei, any fly ball remotely in the area of the outfielders, you score easily.
And that change up outside.
Adam had homers in back-to-back games in that night-day 2-game series in San Francisco.
And gets by him. Only play is going to be to first as Alexei scores, and it's a 2-1 Sox lead.
That'd be a number 48. That's a play that Stroman should have made, especially to the glove side. Any pitcher will tell you when it's to your glove side, you got to catch that ball. But not catching it, plate's a go-ahead run.
So here's Tank at 234, 16 long ones and 44 driven in. Yeah, if you missed that San Francisco series, Adam hit an opposite field home run there, just left of center, way back up in those bleachers. And there's a base hit right down the line. So Abreu's going to score, and it's a 3-1 Sox lead.
RBI number 45 for Viciedo. Just squibs this one off the end of the bat. Lind was playing off the line. It's another slider. And I think Stroman's probably trying to figure out what he has to do to get an out, because he's making good pitches. And the boys in pinstripes are taking advantage of it.
Well, the difference in a hitter with a pitcher making good pitches, if he's thinking about mechanics and the guy makes a good pitch, you're out. It's that simple. If he's thinking about approach and the guy makes a good pitch, if he's on the right approach, then he's liable to hurt you.
He's gotten hurt here with a couple of sliders that were down and off the plate.
Well, that's the approach. That goes back to Todd Stevenson. Todd made a comment the other day about mechanics, and I just loved it. You know how I feel about that.
Yes.
And he was saying that's not the issue. The issue is having an idea, having an approach up there. That's low. So the count 2-1. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors for our guys. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors for their guys here in the bottom of the first inning if you're just tuning in. Short lead by 10. That's a fallback lead.
Last 5 times out for Stroman. He's gone 7 innings or more 4 times. He had a disaster at Houston. That was 2 starts ago. He went 3 innings, gave up 5 earned runs. But last time out against Detroit, he was absolutely brilliant. He went the distance, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs. But this is starting out to be like a Houston performance.
And that ball hit into right center field. Nobody's going to get that one. So Tank is hauling. Bill McEwing waving him around. Here's a throw to the plate. He's safe. 4-1 Sox.
RBI 42 for Connor Gillespie. And they're absolutely drilling the ball off Marcus Stroman. This was a changeup, but it was up. And Connor got on top of it, over the head of Bautista. And they're running on the arm of Kawasaki. That's why Joe McEwing sent him, because they knew the relay man, Kawasaki, doesn't have a real strong arm.
And here's Tyler Flowers at 245, 9 homers. He's driven in 40. It's a long way, Tank. A very long way.
It is that.
It's 90 yards in a straight line, but the line he took is about 110. So the strike evens the count at 1.
Bullpen up and going, and it's certainly something that the Blue Jays do not need, and that is an early exit from Stroman. Chad Jenkins throwing in the pen.
Jordan Dank's on deck. Has the count 1-2 to Tyler.
With runners in scoring position, Tyler's been pretty good.
Oh, Tyler's been a different guy offensively this year than we've ever seen him. He did not go.
This road trip started out in Seattle for Toronto. Didn't start out well. They lost them all. 3-game series with an off day yesterday.
Well, you know, coaches are so important. They're more important today than they've ever been in every position. You get certain coaches in the past. You take a pitching coach, like, for an example, let's just say Johnny Sain, who literally saved some guys' careers.
Did that.
Okay, you take a guy current day, Don Cooper, who's literally saved some guys' careers. Take hitting coaches, some good ones who've saved guys' careers. Todd Stevenson may have saved Tyler Flowers' career. He put him back on track.
Yeah, he's getting a much better look at things. He's also using right and right center field. He also has a 2-strike approach, which he didn't have before.
Van Slaw sitting to Todd's right as he gets him. So 2 down.
There's Hermie taking a look, maybe putting some freezing compound on it.
Well, like we talk about Lanky, he's thin. He's just one of the thinnest players you'll ever see in the major leagues. To have more durability than guys who are really built well.
This is pitch number 34 for Stroman in a very stressful, very tiresome first inning.
Up and out over the plate, and the count evens at 1. And right now, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim Angier, our director and the crew, well, they went with Tyler. Steve's going with Connor. Terry Hanley, Mike Williams, Eric Aldrich, Roger Clare. Now we're going to go with Jordan Dax. Also my 2 good buddies, Mark and Josh Essler. Josh has got a lot of my money on the golf course. And there's a chopper base hit. So he's being waved around. So Jordan with a nice little, some 2-strike hitting there. Picks up the RBI and it's 5-1.
And John Gibbons has seen enough. Stroman is going to make one of his earliest, probably the earliest exit he's ever made. And this one through the vacated left side with Reyes up the middle and nobody home on the left side. Stroman is going to depart trailing 5-1, and we'll step out and be back after these messages. just under 2.5. 15 strikeouts, only 5 walks in 29 innings. Allowed a couple of home runs. And he's out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Big right-hander at 6'4", 235. Spent just a brief time, 10 games up here last year with Toronto.
There's Gordon. And the count evens at 1.
There's another one on our Menards pitch track that could have gone either way.
Knocks it down, picks it up, and throws him out, but not before. Big crooked number goes up on that board. We'll go to the second inning leading 5-1.
By Miller Lite.
A long first inning at both sides. They scored 1 in their half with a lot of pitches being thrown by Noesi. But our Sox came right back with 5 off Marcus Stroman. So it'll be Rasmus, Valencia, Kawasaki, lower third of the Blue Jay order. Rasmus at 222, 15 homers, 35 knocked in. Takes inside strike. One and one. Checking some scores. Top of the 6th in Detroit. Mariners leading the Tigers 6-1. Bottom of the 3rd in Minnesota, no scores. They host Kansas City. 1-2 on the breaking ball. Cleveland leading Baltimore 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 6th at Progressive Field. Good pitch, ate him up, flips it into the seats for a souvenir. It's a pretty good concept right there.
Yeah, I mean, if that pitch is a strike and he bunts it to the left side, it's a base hit.
Yeah, with a 1-2 count. Yep. It's a good concept.
Rasmus does have a sweet spot like a lot of left-handers. It's middle in and about thigh high. You throw it there, you've got some problems.
He just absolutely just flipped that one into right field for a double.
Well, there was a sweet spot, and that's what he did with it. Fortunately, it did stay in the ballpark. Tyler wants it in. He doesn't get it in quite far enough. And it's a 2-base hit.
So here's Danny Valencia hitting at .289, a couple of homers and 13 driven in.
Does it appear to you, as it does to me, that every team we play has Danny Valencia on it?
Yeah.
He seems to get sent to just about every team in the coming up series. He's in the lineup again. What's rare is that he is getting a start against a right-hander. He's made a specialty out of hitting the left-handers, and there's his career against our Sox.
One and one to count. Now Brett Lawrie, very talented infielder, been hurt. Takes it up, fouls it off.
Lawrie came back from a fractured finger, and he got back in the lineup. And the first game he was back, he hurt an oblique. So they didn't get a whole lot of use out of him, and he was pretty hot when he went down.
Very, yeah. Well, that's when Toronto was just killing everybody. He gone. Good pitch.
That had the whole plate, and Valencia once talked with Tim Welke about it, but this wasn't even close to the corner.
Yeah, one time they had a big, 6-7 game lead over there in the East.
And not only did Baltimore chase them down, but they're starting to run away with it. 7.5 game lead.
Here's Muneri Kawasaki hitting at .270. He has faced Hector twice, and he has 2 hits. He's a fun guy to watch play. A lot of energy.
Outfield playing around toward left center field, as you would expect with Diaza. Over toward the line and left, and not particularly deep.
Count evens at 2.
Jose Reyes with his base hit and run scored, waiting in the on-deck circle.
That's trouble. So another little duck snort. Runners at the corners and 1 out.
This fastball in the inner portion. And with the outfield swung around toward left center, Jordan could not get over there in time. So runners at the corners for the top of the order.
Reyes singled and scored last inning. So this has been, even though they trail at 5-1, this has been 2 productive innings against Noesi. This will be the 45th pitch he has thrown in an inning and a third. That ball hit hard. So that'll get the job done. And it's a 5-2 ball game.
RBI number 36. And the leadoff double does come home to score.
That'll bring it to left fielder Melky Cabrera, fouled out to Gillespie. And that ball hit way back. And it's 5-4.
15th home run of the year. Cabrera's now driven in 65. And apparently just the presence of Encarnacion in this lineup has put a charge into the Blue Jays, because in the month of August they're averaging 2.5 runs a game. They have 4 up there in our Ford home run replay. Melky puts them within 1.
Bautista to a walk, takes ball 1. There's a chopper to Hopper. They put a 3 spot up there on the board. We're going to the bottom of the second. We lead it 5-4.
And it's always time for face painting.
So we batted around in the first inning, and here's De Aza leading off the second. We lead at 5-4.
Pitchers duel.
Every now and then you got to win one.
Every now and then you're just going to have to outscore the opposition.
Alejandro started it off with a double. Hard hit double down into the right field corner.
I'm pretty sure that John Gibbons, the skipper, in his second go-round as a skipper with these Blue Jays, wasn't expecting to take Stroman out of the game in the first inning.
Not at all. No, that's a shocker. But it seemed to me, after he hit Alexei, he just came apart. Started aiming. Looked like he was aiming everything.
Well, when you don't hit a whole lot of guys, and he doesn't, sometimes it can disturb you, especially if you're a young pitcher. We won't know if that's necessarily the case, but he certainly didn't resemble the guy that we saw in Toronto. And he certainly didn't resemble the guy that handcuffed Detroit last time.
That's a can of corn. Well, some guys just can't stand it. You know, if they get hit in the buttocks or the leg or something like that, that's okay. But if they get hit in the head or an extremity, elbow or hand. And I played against one of the guys who never reached the big leagues because of that.
Because he hit somebody?
First hitter he ever faced in OB. That's what we used to call it, organized baseball, OB. Steve Dalkowski. TOR. It was a left-handed hitter, and he was a left-handed pitcher. And he hit him in the ear. His right ear, and tore the bottom part of the lobe away from his face there. And from there on out, when the left-hander walked up to that plate, he couldn't throw a strike. And he is acknowledged to be the hardest thrower in the history of the game, and certainly I've faced a lot of hard throwers, and without question he was the hardest. So here is Alexei.
First time up. Alexei caught a high inside fastball right off the hand. This was after De Aza doubled, and it put runners at first and second, nobody out. Turned out to be an early exit for young Marcus Stroman.
Back to the middle into center field. So here's Bray. You had a beautiful first at bat. After De Aza doubles, Alexei was hit, and then a balk by Stroman moved him into third and second. He had 2 strikes on him and went to right field. They were playing him, giving him a big hole over there for a base hit to get 1 in and 1 over. He takes first pitch strike. He just makes adjustments sometimes from pitch to pitch up there at that point.
Well, everybody seems to be concerned about the fact he's not hitting the ball out of the ballpark. But he's not concerned. He said, this happens. It happened when I was in Cuba. It happens here. I'll hit a few more.
Well, what are we talking about? Hitting home runs is a state of mind.
Well, you know, just as quickly as he went into this, he'll come out of it and he'll hit a few home runs, and everybody will say, well, that's fine. As you can see, still tied for first in home runs, first in runs batted in, first in slugging percentage, and second in extra base hits. So all in all, for a rookie,
I'd like to be in slumps like that.
For a rookie, it's not too bad.
I mean, as I said, we're seeing history being made on almost a daily basis with this young man. Yeah, but a lot of times you get your hands feel fat. Something will be wrong with you. You're just tired mentally or whatever it is. And the home run is not in your psyche. Other times when you get out of that mode, you come into your normal mode to a home run mode, and you feel like you're going to hit home runs, and you do hit home runs. When you feel like it, you're going to hit them. Not every time, but you're going to hit a lot of them like that. So that's 2 down.
Jenkins has a pretty decent sinker. That's the reason why the ERA is below 2.5. That being said, Adam certainly likes sinkers, so this should be a pretty good matchup for him.
Very seldom are slumps caused by something mechanical. It's caused by something between the ears. Two and 0. Kawasaki out there in short right field. Had him way out in front.
That was a good changeup. You can see the ball just disappears, but it was not only location but velocity that fooled Dunn there. Looking fastball all the way 2-0.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. And that is just foul. Dadgummit.
That had a very good chance of scoring Alexei all the way from first, but it was a foot on the wrong side of the line.
Full count. Lynn playing behind Alexei as he will take off. And that's over the head of Reyes. So Cabrera will get it back in. And runners at the corners with 2 out. That'll bring up Viciado.
Adam got a thigh-high fastball, but that ball was a good 3-4 inches off the outside corner. But he loves the ball down. He comes away with a base hit. Alexei reading the play right in front of him all the way, realizing that he's going to be able to beat the arm of Melky. Coasts in the third.
Tank had a single, RBI single, a run scored last inning. Single right down the first baseline. Rasmus straight up and deep in center. And that's fouled back and into the seats. And that could be trouble. That could be trouble. And Alexei scores. It's 6-4. A duck snort. We'll take it.
RBI number 46 for Tank, as he doesn't get a whole lot of it. Just enough. Kawasaki going out. No chance for Bautista coming in. And 3 hits in the inning produce a 2-run lead. Navarro going out there to have a word with Jenkins. Time now for AT&T U-verse Multiview, and it's Viciedo who scores all the way from first on the double by Gillespie. He turns it on and doesn't stop until he slides behind Navarro.
And there's a base hit. Adams going to be waved, now held. And a good thing he did. They would have been a dead duck as he had to jump over the ball. So that will load him up.
This base hit avoided by Adam, and a good hold by Joe McEwing will bring Pete Walker out, and he wants to have a word with Jenkins.
Yeah, Cabrera's a good outfielder, very good outfielder. And he's going to hit the majority of cutoff guys, and he's got a decent arm. Very accurate.
There's a young man trying to figure out. Well, actually, they're both trying to figure out. Where exactly should we stop this?
Tyler struck out last inning. Takes strike 1.
Here with the bases loaded, Tyler would like to work on that.
Pulled his head, took him right out of the swing on that one. So the count 0-2. Come on, Tyler. Good 2-strike hit. Chops that one foul. Sacks packed with socks. Just tuning in, 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for our guys. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for their guys here in just the bottom of the 2nd inning. Foul tip hung on to by Deanna Navarro, and that'll retire the side. But we come up with a run, threaten for more, but we lead at 6-4.
or in the process of having one. Tyler Flowers said that ball did not hit the bat, but caught a piece of him. And it looked like, when we took a look at it, he was right.
It didn't hit the bat. Watch his right arm. That's where it hit his elbow,
yep,
right off the thing.
And they're going to take
right
a look
into Navarro's glove.
Even though the entire team is on the field and Hector Nuese is warming up, Tyler still has his batting helmet on in his back.
Yeah, Tyler seems to be pretty confident this thing's going to be overturned. There's John Givens, alias Jimmy Cagney. If it's overturned, you're going to see him rush out of that dugout.
Well, if he could see the replay that we saw, he would stay in the dugout and realize that he got hit.
Yeah. Take another look, and you will see that it certainly didn't hit the bat. Hit his right elbow.
And now they have a decision. And they say it did hit off the bat.
They say it hit off the bat. That's unreal.
Well, it was 6 inches under the bat.
That's unreal. It really is. This is why they have to do something about New York. They can't allow that stuff to happen. They got to have 4 impartial guys up there. They're the ones that's blowing most of the calls. The guys in New York, the ones who are supposed to be getting them right, they're getting them wrong. That's unbelievable.
Hector Nuese said, sometimes when you don't believe in somebody, sometimes they need to show me that I can do it, that I can believe in something. When I got here, Don Cooper told me a lot of things. We talked. That's why I'm getting better, because he told me that I can do it. And we're going to go down to our Jen Latta, who's here with Hector's mother, who's at the game tonight.
Of Hector Nuese, his mother is certainly a fan, and she is in attendance this evening, guys. It is her first trip to Chicago, certainly to U.S. Cellular Field, to see her son pitch. I did catch up with her earlier tonight. I asked, do you get nervous when he takes the mound? She said, sí, muy nerviosa. Obviously, she said it hurts her heart sometimes when the opposing hitters make contact. She's afraid that it's going to be a home run every time. The great news is she is able to see him, but even better, guys, it's her birthday tonight. And of course, you know the rule. You never ask a woman how old she is, but if you guess and get it right, which I did, 35, she'll tell you that you're correct. So happy birthday to Hector Nuese's mom, a lovely 35 this evening at the ballpark.
Okay, Jen. Nice job. But again, a terrible call right there by New York once again. So we're into the top of the third. It is a 6-4. You know, it's like the call we had in San Francisco. It wasn't Fielding Culbreth, David Rackley. It was guys in New York who blew it. So here we go. Here's Encarnacion. Oh, yeah, and I understand. Oh, buddy, Matt Abatacola just ripped me apart yesterday, calling me names, calling me a sexist. A friend of mine, I didn't even know Matt was still in town. I thought he was either fired or quit and went someplace else. I think he's just upset because I don't use his name anymore. There's a strike. Encarnacion struck out on a high, bad fastball. Stops that foul. Yeah, that really hurts. Almost broke my heart. I guess I'll have to live with it. That's foul.
Hector's got to get back and get his concentration back. He had a long first inning, a long second inning. He can't afford to have a long third inning. And it starts with the guy that seemingly has reinvigorated his lineup just by his presence. Encarnacion back for the first time.
Two balls, two strikes. High pop up. High pop up. And Beckham, a long way out there, makes the over the shoulder catch. A beautiful play for out number one.
Turned into a lot tougher play than it should have been. Gordon went back and probably waiting for Viciedo to call him off. But Viciedo was playing very deep, as you would expect for Encarnacion. He gets there in time to catch Gordon. Gordon fortunately gets there in time to catch the ball. And all's well that ends well.
So here's Lynn. He drove in a run with a little soft duck snort into left field right off the end of the bat.
Really pretty solid year for Lynn, only they don't really understand where the power went. As this guy used to have a pretty good amount of it, especially to left center field.
The power is between the ears. That's where it's at. It's the state of mind. If you don't think you can do it, you're not going to do it. 1-2.
You go back to 2009, and Lynn hit 35 home runs and drove in 114. Last year, he hit 23.
He gone. Good back door. 2 down. And Hector needs a short inning. That was the 60th pitch.
Good snapping breaking ball. He got the call from Tim Welke, and he should have. Yeah, he wants to see the third out and back into the dugout.
So here's Navarro, who grounded out softly, a 3-hopper to Beckham. Takes first pitch strike. Now feels slightly to the left. And that's a can of corn. So a nice 1-2-3 inning for Hector. Beautiful play by Beckham. We go to the bottom of the third, leading by 2.
For a chance to have it shown on our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T. That last inning was a good bounce-back inning for Hector. Now a few more runs, make it a little easier for him.
So here's Jordan. Had a big 2-out RBI single in the first inning. Takes that pitch low and away. Kansas City leading Minnesota 5-3. Game in the bottom of the fourth up at Target Field. Seattle leading Detroit 6-1, bottom of the eighth at Comerica Park. Here's a bad call. Should be 3-0. It's 2-1.
That Seattle team came into play tonight just a half game out of the wild card.
Full count.
And the problem for Detroit is you get that Seattle team with a lead late, just like Kansas City. They're not going to come back too often.
Oh boy, he just took the bat right out of Jordan Dank's hand, and that is bad. That's terrible. That's bad. Look at the span between that one and the one he called a strike on the outside. 1 out. That's brutal.
Well, there were 6 pitches, one of which was in the strike zone.
Yeah, I mean, and he calls him out. Jordan swung at one. Maybe the first 2 innings took too long for him. There's a chopper to Hopper. Two down. Now we go back to the top of the order with Alejandro. Alejandro started off that 5-run first with a double. He's 1 for 2. Leading Oakland 7-2, top of the 7th down in Georgia. Tampa Bay shutting out the Yankees 4-0 in St. Pete. That game in the bottom of the 8th. Full count Top of the 8th at Fenway, 3-2 Boston over Houston. Mets leading the Cubs 3-2, bottom of the 7th in New York. And there's ball 4. That's the first walk of this ball game. No checking. Wessie walked Bautista in the first. And here is Alexei. He's 1 for 1 with 2 runs scored. He's hit by a pitch and has singled. Angels leading Texas 4-1, bottom of the 5th down at Arlington. Rangers 27 games under 500.
Last 22 games, Alexei has been awfully hot. 333, driven in 16, scored 14. And you'd figure if he stays in the 2 spot, he's going to score a lot of runs.
And that'll be to the side. We will go to the 4th, leading 6-4. Planet you're from, head out to the ballpark for Star Wars night on Friday, August 29th. Now come dressed in your best Star Wars attire and march in a pregame parade around the field. Also, the first 750 fans to purchase will receive a White Sox R2-D2 beanie. So, WhiteSox.com/Star Wars. Rasmus has a double and a run scored. 6-9-0 for our guys, 4-5-0 for their guys. Very quickly, the count 0-2. Just looking at the same Rangers and Rockies, 2 worst records in baseball, both 27 games under.
It's a battle for the #1 pick.
That's into center field. Jordan. 1 out.
Sinking line drive. Nice play by Jordan.
St. Louis shutting out San Diego 3-0, 4th inning in St. Louis. Now make going to the 5th. Coming in, St. Louis 2 games back of Milwaukee. They're taking on the Dodgers in L.A. later on.
That's Nelson against Greinke. Greinke lately has had some trouble winning, though he's still throwing very well. That ERA at 2.84.
That might be the toughest club in baseball to manage.
But when you've got 4 quality outfielders and you kind of juggle them and get them playing time, as the appeal, and that was a strike. That's pretty difficult for Don Mattingly because each one of those guys wants to play every day. A lot of times you're playing them out of position. And you got a lot of stars to deal with on a daily basis.
Well, sometimes those are the toughest teams to manage.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And what it turns into for the manager is he has to diffuse everything he can to the press because there's so much stuff coming out of the clubhouse. But Don can handle it. He played in New York. So if you play in New York,
he's familiar with it.
Almost everything. One out and a 1-2 pitch. Good foul. It will.
High changeup, and Valencia hit it on the button, but a little too quickly. High changeups get hit hard.
And that's out of play right side. Dodgers with a 5.5 game lead over San Francisco. Here you go. Hook. 2 down.
Second time caught looking. And Hector goes over the top with a curveball perfectly in the zone. And Valencia has a seat again.
Kawasaki takes a fastball strike at 94. He had a little duck snort in the center field for a single and came around to score. Oh, 0-2 the count.
Hector now trying to retire his 7th in a row.
Get over there. That's the bad play by Abreu.
Well, that's the one thing he's consistently done, and that's not knowing where Gordon is setting up. You can't wander that far to the right, that far off the bag, and then try to right yourself and make the throw. And you see, he's taking this ball well to the second base side of Gordon Beckham. If you know where Gordon is, it's a real easy play.
Oh, that's something they're going to have to. They did it on his stretch earlier in the season. They're going to have to. That's about the 4th or 5th time he's done it.
Yes, it is.
That is not good. So Kawasaki will pick up a real gift right there.
It's not only a gift base hit, keeps the inning alive, obviously, but for your pitcher who doesn't need any more pitches because he's piled up a bunch of them, he's going to have to throw some more. And he's got 77 to this point.
Well, that's the reason it's a bad play. Cost a young man a perfect game in Detroit. With Miguel Cabrera playing first. Knocks it down, picks it up. And Reyes is out. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth, leading by 2.
Here on Comcast Sportsnet.
And watching it tonight, we want to wish good luck and best wishes to Vanessa Odom, who is ready to embark on her journey through higher education, and a good one at St. Mary's College. So, Vanessa, the door's opening for some of the best days of your life, honey. Congratulations. Six-4 Sox here in the bottom of the fourth. Abreu, Dunn, and Viciedo. Because they had a beautiful at bat in the first inning. And on second, third, nobody out. 2 strikes on him and still moved the ball to the right side. Got a base hit out of it. Knocked in one. Got the other one over. And that paved the way for a big 5-run first if you're just tuning in. They scored 1 in the first. We scored 5 in the second. 5 in the first. They scored 3 in the second. We scored 1 in the second. Ate him up. Race. 1 out.
That was a good fastball with good late movement right in on the hands, and he broke Jose's bat.
Here's Adam. He is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Picked up his 48th. First inning.
Lind is right on the line at first. Kawasaki back in short right field.
That ball hit hard and deep into left center field. On the track is Rasmus. He jumps us off the wall.
Colby jumped a little short that time.
So the double by Adam. That's his 16th.
We talked about this being a good matchup because Adam loves the ball down, and he gets it down, out over the plate. And Colby, well, he didn't get it.
No, he didn't.
He did not get it. One of the reasons why Navarro is out there is that the bullpen is up and going.
That was very, very close to one of the greatest catches I've ever seen to the place it was made. The catch. And here comes Gibbons out of the dugout.
And we got Todd Redmond coming in the ball game.
So 1 out, 1 on here in the bottom of the fourth. We lead a 6-4, and we'll be back.
Big right-hander Todd Redmond out for the 34th time. He's 1-4, but his ERA 1.98. Right-handers have more trouble than left-handers, and as you can see, he's been called on to save a game, and he's been successful.
So Dunn at second, 1 down, and Viciedo, the hitter, who is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Takes that pitch, good pitch, didn't get it. So advantage goes to Tank. And there's a strike. Redmond, who lives in St. Petersburg. They got him listed as 6'3", 200. I think that was when he was just a freshman in high school.
Yeah, I would think he flew by 200 quite some time ago. I believe the 6'3".
Fouls that back. So 2-2 the count.
Well, we'll have to see if he took the one hopper right back to him. It could very well that he is feeling the ill effects of that one.
Yeah, that ball had a little mustard on it.
He was able to knock it down, but he knocked it down with his thigh.
Got him, 2 down. And when you're talking about that great catch and the guy who threw it is in the ballpark tonight, he'll be pitching tomorrow. But watch this. Gabe Kaplan. Watch Dwayne Wise. Lost it, caught it, came down with it. One of the greatest catches you will ever see, especially under the conditions.
Well, not only did it preserve the perfect game, but he was just put in the game for defense. So he had really very little time to warm up. Mark Burley was one. We were a couple others that didn't think he had a shot at that ball.
I didn't, and I was right here because he played the shallowest of any center fielder in the American League.
And he just came out of nowhere, kept closing ground, kept his concentration.
When that adrenaline kicks in, it's amazing what a human being can do. And of course, Mark Burley will always be indebted to Dwayne Wise for that catch. Mark Burley, my all-time favorite White Sox player. He'll be out there against one of his best buddies, Johnny Danks, tomorrow night. So make your plans to be with us. If you can't, we'll have it right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Mark got off to such a great start this year, and lately cooled off somewhat. But he takes the ball each and every time out. He's going to go over 200 innings again.
He did not go. So Tyler, who struck out his first at bat, then on his pitch got hit in the elbow, and they called him out. The umpire did at home plate. Tim Welke thought it was a foul tip hung on to by Navarro, but in New York they saw it was clear to deny hit his bat, and they still called him out. Guys in New York in a big funk. 1-1 to count.
Last 22, Tyler has been red hot.
Bottom of the ninth in Detroit, 7-2 Seattle. Two on, two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the ninth in Cleveland, Baltimore and the Indians are tied at 1. Bottom of the 6th at Target Field, Kansas City leading Minnesota's 5-3. And that's off the plate. Redmond, as big as he is, he's a finesser. Payoff pitch with 2 down. And we're into the 5th. Leading by 2. WhiteSox.com/TV survey during today's game and provide us your feedback for 2 tickets to a select White Sox home game and a chance to win a signed Paul Konerko jersey and other memorabilia. So visit WhiteSox.com/TV survey now.
There's a very little Sox fan.
And here is Cabrera. Melky, 2-run homer in the second. He's 1 for 2. Slashes that one foul. We mentioned Burley against Danks tomorrow. And on Sunday, Scott Carroll against Drew Hutchison. That game will be over WGN.
Jose Altuve leads the way in hits, but Melky Cabrera in second, trailing by 11.
He's just a good player. A real good player. Steady Eddie.
Actually getting a whole lot better. He was a decent player with the Yankees, and since has been an excellent player.
He just killed us when he was in Kansas City. That was some kind of outfield they had. 3 outfielders with 40 or more doubles.
All of them could throw you out. All of them accurate.
Yeah, they had Francoeur in right. Of course, Gordon in left. So 1 out. Not too many guys went from first to third in that outfield, especially as short as Francoeur played in right field. Breaking ball strike to Batista, who walked and grounded softly to Alexa. That's the final now from Detroit. 7-2 Mariners. High pop up. Two down. Encarnacion, who struck out his first trip on a 3-2 fastball up and out of the zone. And then Gordon made a beautiful catch over the shoulder in short right field. And Gordon's going to get him again, this time on the infield. And a nice inning. We're halfway home, leading 6-4. That's the reason you're our Chuck. As here is Jordan Danks. Jordan 1 for 2 with a big RBI. 2-out RBI in the first inning. And last time, never had a chance, as there's a base hit. So good speed aboard. He's 3 for 4 in stolen bases. And Terry Hamlin, Mike Williams, Rick Aldrich, Roger Clare, Mark Essler, Josh Essler's picked a click. 2 for 3 with an RBI. Here's Gordon. He's 0 for 2. First and 30 in Gordon. Gordon, of course, with that big base hit in the top of the 10th to win that ball game in San Francisco for us. 3-2. And made 2, ridiculous plays at second base. Unbelievable, that double play. Steve and I were just, as soon as the ball was hit, we knew it was a base hit up the middle. And out of nowhere, he dove, flipped it, backhanded it. And Mike Leary's got it for you right here if you missed it. Watch this play. That was the easy one. He made another one that was a lot better than that one. Crossfire action from the big right-hander.
It certainly helped to get a little insurance here, and the leadoff single always helps.
There he goes. Foul tipped. Down was going to have a shot at him, but it had to be a good throw. Oh, you got a cookie right there. Couldn't do anything with it.
This was a slow slider and doesn't do a whole lot. Gordon fouled it straight back.
Hits him on the fist. In that Seattle victory over the Tigers, Cano was 2 for 4 with a home run. Seager 2 for 4 with an RBI. That was Paxton, a big left-hander. 3-0 now. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run against Porcello, the loser, 13-8. There he goes. And another foul ball. Outfield way around to the right. A lot of room down the left field line, and there's a base hit. That aboard Gordon. He got another cookie. Didn't miss that one.
This one at 77. That's a sidearm breaking ball, but when you drop down, that ball hangs over the inner portion of the plate. The hitter's got a real good shot at it.
Well, he's lucky that ball stayed in the park. Here's Alejandro. He's 1 for 2. Led off the bottom of the first with a double. And in essence started off that 5-run first. He also has walked and gone out to right. Corners in close looking for a bunt. They're not going to get it. There's a base hit. So here comes Jordan. He's going to score. And it's a 7-4 ball game. Don't stop now, boys.
RBI number 31 for Alejandro. And it's a good thing this ball just eked over the glove of Reyes. Would have been a double play, but it wasn't. And a 3-run lead.
So here's Alexei. He's 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Close call for him in his first at bat if you missed it. Angels leading Texas 5-1, bottom of the 7th, down in Arlington, of course, with Oakland losing their ball game to the Braves 7-2. The Angels could now pull within 1. That's going to be a real interesting race to watch. Slowly hit, slowly hit. Can't get it. Bases loaded.
Alexei sniffs a base hit here. Doesn't get a whole lot of it. Swings over the top. And Valencia cannot get it there in time. The call by Todd Tishner.
And that'll bring up Abreu, who's 1 for 3. With one of the big at-bats in this ball game, that coming in the first inning. Had an RBI single, then later came around to score. But it was a huge at-bat with 2 strikes. And on second, third, nobody out. We got 1 in, 1 over. Looks like Redmond likes to try to work the ball.
I think he doesn't have much of a choice. He's got to work the ball.
Yeah.
Good speed on the base paths. And Jose 3 for 6 with the bases loaded in the course of his very young career.
Takes a strike up and in, says Tim Welke. Now advantage on a big pitch right there. The 1-1 is 2 balls and a strike. That was the strike. Had part of the outside corner.
Pretty good pitch. And the count evens at 2-2.
That's the base hit back to the middle. That's going to score a pair. And it's a 9-4 Sox lead. And now, RBIs, number 88 and 89.
2 strikes, shorten the swing, take a ball that's on the inner half and take it right back up the middle. That's just good situational hitting, a 2-strike approach, 3 runs driven in, and he's knocking at the door of 100. He's 11 short.
Well, it's early yet. A little over 100 games he's played, but right now it appears he might be the best situational hitter, thinker that we've had since Paulie was in his prime.
Well, we're seeing the first year, and we can say this a lot. Wait till he gets to know the pitchers, because right now every guy he's seeing for the first time.
Well, there are some guys that most of the time, like 90, maybe 99.5% of the time, that you say, well, wait till the league finds him out. You know, with him, it's wait till he finds out the league.
The league's tried just about everything at this point.
Adam. Adam, a single, a double, and an RBI. He's 2 for 3. 9-15-0 for us, 4-6-0 for them. And the count 3-1. Big hack, full count. Adam with a nice approach to that pitch, trying to take that ball either up the middle or into left center.
This one had the strike zone, and Adam on the Honda pitch track able to foul it off.
He was all over that one. Just underneath it.
Got a fastball right down the middle. Couldn't have split the plate any better than that.
That ball's hurt. Watch out. Yes, country music night prior to the game. Easton Corbin. Fans loved his singing. And also the all-veteran parachute team. And there's a base hit through the shift. So Alexei's going to score. Jose on his way to third. And it's a 10-4 ball game.
Third hit of the night, second run driven in, 49th of the year for Adam as he gets another low fastball and hits it right through the shift, bringing Pete Walker out once again. And the bullpen set to work.
And we talked about Beckham's big plays on Tuesday. What's this one? This was the one that was just ridiculous. On a 2-run single, to a double play.
That was with the bases loaded and nobody out.
That was absolutely a sensational play. That first one was a piece of cake compared to that one.
Yep.
So here's Tank. He's 2 for 3, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Not one of his better swings.
Well, that one was a get off me ball swing because that hits him probably in the arm if he doesn't hit it.
Up high, and now the big hole 0-2. This is the spot here, 0-2-1-2. The Tank's going to have to change his approach, because a lot of times he'll have the same swing. He'll have the same swing like that one on 0-2 that he has on 2-0.
Well, he's got the best object lesson maybe in the league in the same lineup.
Yes, he does.
Take a look at an Abreu at bat when he gets in a similar situation, and you'll notice a completely different swing.
Ball gets away, so he'll score. And it's 11-4.
This one was ruled a wild pitch, as he just didn't get the glove down in time, and that ball, instead of coming up, flattened out and went right through Navarro's legs.
The 11-16-0 for our guys, 4-6-0 for their guys. There is ball 4.
That's going to be the last pitch Redmond's going to throw. So as Redmond walks out, we'll step out and be back after these messages.
when the Sox score 5 or more runs. So far, we got 11 tonight. You get 50% off your entire online order at papajohns.com with the promo code SOX5. That's the following day. And that's at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
And Dustin McGowan comes in the ball game on for the 40th time. A 4-3 record, a 4.24 ERA. Not going to strike out a whole lot of people. Not going to walk a lot of people. And Moises Sierra comes in the game to pinch run. He'll also go in to play right field when it's time to play defense. But there's still nobody out here in a 5-run fifth.
If you're just tuning in, they scored 1 in the first. We scored 5 in the first. They scored 3 in the second. We scored 1 in the second. Led at 6-4. And then, Steve just mentioned, 5 so far here in the bottom of the fifth to lead it 11-4.
And 4+ innings, the Toronto pitchers have thrown 140 pitches.
He did. Gillespie is 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. And that's popped up. Valencia. One out. So here's Tyler. Tyler's 0 for 3. He's had a tough evening. He got hit with a pitch, and they called him out on a strikeout, a foul tip. I think it tipped was his elbow. Takes first pitch strike. Catchers have to have more restraint at the plate than any other player.
If they want their pitchers to get any pitches, they do.
That plus you only have 2 catchers. It's not like the old days when you had 3.
Oh.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Lines it right at him. Right at him. So Bautista makes the catch for out number 2. And here's a man who started this inning off with a solid single. Jordan Danks, who's 2 for 3, a run scored and an RBI.
There was a time when Dustin McGowan looked like he was headed for stardom. That was back in 2007 when he went 12-10 in 27 starts. But he's missed all of 3 years to injuries.
Boy, you're so right. When he first came, first time we saw him, he was one of the best looking young right-handers in the American League.
It's unfortunate he lost 2009, 2010 to injury. Again lost 2012 to injury. Now he's fought his way back and trying to make it out of the pen. 32 years old.
Born in Savannah, Georgia. Well, the way the physicians, the surgeons, watch out over to first base, and that'll retire the side. They're prolonging a lot of guys' careers. Meanwhile, we put a big crooked number up there. We'll go to the 6th, leading by 7. Game powered by Constellation. First 10,000 fans will also receive a reusable White Sox jersey lunch bag courtesy of Constellation. So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Adam Lynn, Deanna Navarro, and Colby Rasmus. And a nice comeback after Hector gave up 1 in the first, 3 in the second. I believe he had 60 pitches. Very quick in this ball game.
Giving up just 1 hit since the second. That shouldn't have been a hit, but was. So it was a terrific comeback to stay in the ball game. Only to see his team score 11, make it a whole lot easier. There you look at the numbers. They haven't been all that pretty, but when you consider he got hurt early and then righted the ship, a little more impressive.
That's over the leap. Beckham. So Lynn now 2 for 3.
That's a changeup. It's low and away. And Lynn with good plate coverage. Just barely getting over the head of Gordon Beckham. Goes up as high as he can go. Not quite high enough.
They're underway in L.A. where the Dodgers just scored. They lead Milwaukee 1-0.
Dodgers lost their talented left-hander Rue to the disabled list. And that's not going to help them all that much. Might be very happy picking up Kevin Correa, who threw a very good ball game in his first start for the Dodgers. Got him from the Twins.
And there's a strike. Kansas City leading Minnesota 5-3, top of the 8th at Target Field. So if that holds true, Royals will have a 1.5 game lead over the Tigers. And that's into center field. So Navarro now 1 for 3. Meanwhile, trouble brewing here in the 6th.
And the bullpen up and going. Both pens, and there's the big talented right-hander we were talking about when the game started, Aaron Sanchez. Sox also have action. And it's Javi Guerra as Don Cooper back to action, making a trip to the mound to give Guerra a chance to get loose. Meantime, the Tampa Bay Rays did something that only 3 other teams in the history of baseball have been able to do, and that is come from 18 games under 500 and then get back to 500. They were able to do it tonight by shutting out the Yankees. And for some reason, the Rays, regardless, they trade David Price. They always have a great second half, and this year, no exception.
Well, we talked about it at the time. You can never count them out as long as Joe Maddon's their manager. You can never count him out. I mean, the man is just different. He's out of the box. You're going to find ongoing, I should say. More and more managers become out of the box.
Well, he gets the most out of each and every player, and he does it simply by taking all of the pressure off everyone with some of the things that I don't know how he even dreams them up.
Well, that's managing. That's managing. It's getting your players' heads to where as they can give you most of what they've got every day. You'll never get every day everything a player's got. It's just impossible. But you want, if he's got 80%, get 100% of 80%. And that's what Madden does. He gets 100% of what they have in them out of them on a daily basis. And that's managing. It's getting in guys' heads. It's not X's and O's. We got people watching this game right now who can run a baseball game X's and O's wise as good as most major league managers. We got people sitting in the seats in this ballpark and do the same thing. But getting in the players' heads, no, that's a different story. Rasmus, 1 for 2. Started off that 3-run second with a double and scored. You find most of your real good managers are always challenging in subtle ways their players. And I mentioned one example when we played the Angels. Chris Sale was pitching. Josh Hamilton was in the lineup. And before the game, Mike goes up, Socia goes up to Josh and says, "Josh, you realize that not one left-handed hitter in this league this year has had a base hit off Chris Sale?" He said, "What?" He's not one left-handed hitter. Well, Josh got 2 hits in that game. That's managing.
Well, there is no doubt that he's among the best.
Yeah.
He's been among the best for quite some time.
A long time. And he'll continue as long as he wants to manage to be among the best. Because you got too many managers that just go by the readouts. And they make your perfunctory moves, so to speak, to on nobody out to bunt here in a situation. As now we got the bases loaded with nobody out here.
And I think that's going to be it. That's a 100 pitch mark. A lot of them have been under duress, although not the last couple of innings. But Robin, I believe, has seen enough, and he will wave in Javi Guerra from the pen.
Yeah, second trip to the mound, so he gone. And Guerra comes on, and we'll be back. 400 from the 300 and 500 levels. And young Sox fans can learn baseball fundamentals from White Sox Training Academy coaches. And the space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and baseball skill instruction. It's all from Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Javi Garrett comes in the ball game for the 30th time. 1-3 ERA, pretty good at 3.19. But he inherits some problems. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And here's Danny Valencia, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of punch-outs. Count evens at 1. So a big pitch coming up. Here's where he's going to be looking for it. And there's a rack 'em up. Yeah. 2 down. Ball was slowly hit, but when you got guns like Beckham and you got guns like Ramirez out there, they turn double plays a lot of the teams cannot turn.
This is a pretty good pitch on the outside corner. And Gordon just fires it across and gets Valencia.
127th double play turned by our Sox this year. As Muniori takes first pitch strike. He's 2 for 2 with a run scored. He got a cookie right there and missed it. 0-2.
If Javi gets out of this one with only 1 run, it will be a job well done. And they'll leave the inning with a 6-run lead.
He gone. What a job by Javi Guerra. Throws the double play and the strikeout, and we'll go to the bottom of 6 leading with that 6-run lead.
Present a new half-hour behind-the-scenes special recapping Hall of Famer Frank Thomas's memorable weekend at Cooperstown. Don't miss it tomorrow night following White Sox postgame live right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Aaron Sanchez comes in the ball game. He's 2-0, his ERA 2.19, on for the 8th time. All out of the pen, although he was a starting pitcher for most of this year, but they want to limit his innings, so they working him out of the pen. 10 strikeouts and 12 1/3, just 2 walks. As you can see, right-handers might as well go home. 0.83.
Well, he just turned 22 years old, and he was a pretty good hitter as well. Hit .542 with a .972 slugging percentage.
That's good.
High school. Yeah. 6'4", 200 pounds out of Barstow, California. And here's Gordon. Gordon, as he takes that first pitch at 97. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Big hit in that 5-run fifth.
Sanchez, the 34th player chosen overall in 2010. It was a supplemental portion of the first round. And looks like they've got themselves a good one.
I went at 96 upstairs. And that is slicing. Foul. And once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow evening. Johnny Danks against Mark Burley.
There's a great story coming out of Williamsport, Little League World Series. Moni Davis of the Tanny Dragons out of Philadelphia. The only female to ever throw a complete game shutout in the Little League World Series. He throws 70 miles an hour.
Or just got a piece of that breaking ball.
Pretty amazing.
Well, from 45 feet, that's pretty quick.
That is pretty quick, and the fact she's the only female on the team.
70 miles an hour.
70 miles an hour.
So 1 out, and here's Diaza. He's had a big night. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, RBI. Started off that 5-run first with a double. Takes first pitch strike at 97. Easy 97. He gives you, with that motion, he has the impression he's got 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour more in that back pocket. That's outside, but called a strike at 98.
There was some great late movement on that at 98, and it looked like it just shot out of his hand.
Well, that release is just, when you get a guy like that, that special release, that's fun to watch. It's a low percentage, very low percentage of pitchers who have that kind of a release, where the ball, as Steve mentioned, just jumps out of your hand. So Sanchez with a nice 1-2-3 inning, and we're into the 7th. look. This is the all-veteran parachute team. The guy you just saw with the pro cam, Mike Elliott. He's the guy that helped George H.W. Bush in the 2 jumps he had, and here they are prior to the game. And I tell you, I don't even want to see that.
You know,
that's
to me, that looks great.
That's sphincter time right there.
This looks good. It looks to me like something you should try.
I'm going to. I'm going to. That's on my bucket list.
Well, get that guy to take you down.
But I'm not going to try to jump into a stadium for 25,000 feet.
Are you sure?
I'll tell you that. No, I'm going to have me a big field to jump into. How about a golf course?
How about a state?
Yeah, that's it.
Jump into Nebraska.
Jose Reyes. No, I'm going to try that. I might even try that this winter. I'll tell you, George H.W. Bush is getting to be one of my idols. He really is. I mean, that man, twice. What was he, 88 or 90?
I have no idea.
He went out for his birthday.
Unbelievable.
He's taking over Mickey Mantle's spot. Of course, he was a pretty good first baseman himself. There's a nice play. Got to hurry. Nice play by Gillespie on a Skinner.
This is not easy. Comes right off the grass and able to make the play. Stays right with it.
And that was for H.W.'s 90th birthday going out of the play.
That's pretty amazing.
Here's Melky. 1 for 3, a 2-run homer. His 15th. He now has 65 RBIs. One thing about it, if something were to go wrong, it wouldn't hurt very long.
No. But, you know, it would give you a thrill until that auxiliary chute opened up.
Oh, boy.
If the second one doesn't open up, well, you won't have a chance for a cell phone call.
Gordon, he's got him. Javi Guerra's come in, and last inning, if you're just tuning in, bases loaded, nobody out. A couple of pitches to Valencia, hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Then he struck out Kawasaki. So here's Bautista. A walk, a ground out, and a pop-up. Pours it at 95, right over the outside edge of the outside corner. All veteran parachute team headed up by Mike Elliott. Oh, what a wonderful job they did.
He's actually just taking a look with that GoPro camera that when they jump out of the plane and you see how far down they're going and what looks like just a little dot that they have to jump into.
Yeah. Well, the first one landed on the X.
Amazing.
The next one just missed it. The next one just missed it. And the third one just missed it by a step and a half. He gone. Another good inning by Javi Guerra. 7th inning stretch. We lead it 11-5. U.S. Cellular Field presented by Avoderm Natural Nylabone. More information or to purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com or 866-SOX-GAME.
Not only the athletics, but dogs. Plenty of dogs.
Bark at the park, baby. That's a nice little slogan.
Aaron Loop comes into the ball game. Side-arming left-hander. On for the 57th time, so he's been a busy man. 4-3, 2.96 ERA. Pretty respectable year overall. Opponents hitting 191. That's more than respectable. That's very good.
0-2 the count. Machiavelli's hit a home run in the bottom of the 11th to beat Baltimore 2-1. Cleveland 2-6-1 for Baltimore 1-7-0. Rangers have come back. Angels hitting in the top of the ninth now, leading only 5-4. Two and two. Adam Dunn on deck. Rayu 2 for 4. 3 RBIs in this game. Now has 89. And another base hit.
Michael Clado gets ready in the bullpen. He will undoubtedly come in after a very nice performance by Javi Guerra.
That was a clutch performance by Javi Guerra.
You come in bases loaded, nobody out, give up just 1 run, and tack another inning on. That'll make your manager happy.
They got plenty of time. 2 down. So that'll bring up Moises Sierra making his first plate appearance. Tank was 2 for 3, 2 RBIs and a run scored.
Moises, in putting on that White Sox uniform, has hit 292. He's done a terrific job. He came from this Toronto team. Rick Hahn did a good job of recognizing the talent that he had. And since coming over, he's done a whole lot of things right.
Well, since you're talking about talent, he's got about as much talent as anybody on that ball club. And he's got energy, and he's got a personality. And he's still just 25 years old, so he's got a huge upside.
Well, it's nice to watch him on the bench when he's not playing, how involved he is with the game and the other players.
Oh, he's that, and also in the clubhouse. He's just effervescent. On the inside edge of the inside corner, he says. Meanwhile, we're into the 8th, leading 11-5.
record, 5.82 ERA. 16 walks in 17 innings is what sent him to the minor leagues in the first place, but he was throwing the ball well when he came back. So he's got a 6-run lead. And most likely 3 outs to get.
Encarnacion, Lind, and Navarro. Encarnacion has struck out. Then he hit a pop-up down the right field line into medium right field. Beckham got out there and made an over-the-shoulder catch for a terrific play. And then his next at bat, he just did a routine pop-up to Beckham.
Got to be tough. You're out for a little over 6 weeks. You play 4 rehab games and then try to come back against Major League pitching. Even for a guy as good as Encarnacion, that's not easy to do.
I applaud him for it. I applaud him for his reasons for coming back.
I mean, he realized it, as far as the ball club, they absolutely needed him.
They needed him, and he came back. Since he's been in that Toronto uniform, he has done nothing but impress people.
Right now, because that leg isn't 100%, he's a DH instead of the first baseman, which he normally plays.
And that's into short. Right field. Moises is there. 1 out. Nice pitch. Took something off the breaking ball, had him out in front. So that'll bring up Lynn to his 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. That's one thing I will always, as I've said this many times, I will always, my first thought when people ask me about the big hurt Frank Thomas is, was he a great hitter? Sure, there's no question about that. But I'm telling you, the thing that always pops in my mind, he played hurt. And he never wanted anybody to know it. He didn't want the media to know it. Didn't want anybody to know it. Because he knew his presence. He knew what that presence meant in this lineup. Hopper. 2 down.
I don't believe any of the great ones ever had huge stretches of time where they weren't hurt. I mean, if you're going to be out there every day, if you're going to be playing enough and pile up the numbers to be considered a great one, you've got to play hurt.
How about that guy?
Oh, Mickey?
Mickey. He is the poster child for that. He had his legs wrapped before every game. They were running for the White Sox in 1964 for the pennant. They were neck and neck. I was playing first base in Kansas City. He hit a 2-hopper to the shortstop and beat it out. It was a hard 2-hopper, beat it out. But he had to go way past the line because he couldn't break it down fast because of his leg.
Couldn't stop.
He got back, Steve, to the first base, and he had tears in his eyes. On the first pitch, he stole second. He scored, and that was the run that beat us in the ball game. They beat the White Sox that year by 1.
That's, well,
I mean,
that's how guys make the Hall of Fame.
That's it. He's the only runner I've ever seen come back to a bag with tears in his eyes. That's foul. Yeah, but you're right. The great ones, they knew what they meant to their ball club, and they would play hurt. And the funny thing about the Big Hurt was you very seldom ever saw him in the training room. He just wore it. He just lived with it. Three and two. To Navarro, who is 1 for 3. And that's going to be a base hit.
Absolutely nothing Connor could have done there.
No.
You see if it's going to roll foul. When it's on the grass, you realize it's not, and there's no reason to even think about throwing it. So swinging bunt. You see where Connor is, and you just have to hope the spin takes it foul. But it spun the other way. And that's one of the few infield hits that Deanna is going to get.
Get over there. That'll be an error on Abreu. Lost in the transfer. That'll be his 4th error.
It's in good position. Just has the ball drop out of the glove.
Boy, he has played overall, he has played a terrific first base for us this year.
He has that. He right now is the most disappointed man on that field.
Sure he is.
Doesn't matter what score is, what the situation is. He believes that he should make every play, and he's very disappointed when he doesn't.
Well, the one thing he has to, we talked about earlier, he's got to find out where Beckham is before every pitch. So here's Francisco. Juan Francisco to hit for Valencia. Breaking ball strike.
It was really a choice between Gose and Francisco as to who they would send down when they activated Encarnacion. Well, Gose had an option left. Francisco didn't. And many times that's what it comes down to. And so Francisco's here and Gose is in the minor leagues.
Now the breaking ball and count 0-2.
2 for 9 pinch hitting this year, but one of them a home run.
And Kansas City has defeated Minnesota 6-5. Chops that foul. But Detroit got beat. Kansas City now a game and a half in front of the Tigers. Cleveland 6 back. We're 9.5 back. And Minnesota 12.5 back. Two on, 2 out, and the 0-2 pitch. That at 99. Two and 2. He did. He gone. And that'll retire the side. So a good inning for Clado. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
Eleven to 5 as Casey Jansen comes in the ball game. 7th of the Blue Jay pitchers on for the 35th time. 3-1, 3.45 ERA.
First pitch strike to Gillespie.
Juan Francisco, after pinch hitting, stays in the game to play third.
Gillespie is 2 for 3. A double, a single, RBI. They're playing him perfectly. Reyes really short arms it over to first, but he's got a strong arm. And a reminder to catch all the second half action on MLB.Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit whitesox.com for details. Tyler's 0 for 4. 3 strikeouts, and then last time up hit a bullet right to Bautista in right field. Checks it up.
Looks like it's going to be Daniel Webb to finish it off.
Three and 0.
As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Chicago Fan Photo for a chance to be shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Here's Jordan. He's had a good night. 2 for 4. Run scored. RBI. Tomorrow evening, Johnny Danks against Mark Burley. So make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark. If you can, we'll have it for you right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Then on Sunday, Scott Carroll against Drew Hutchinson. And that game will be over WGN. Hook. 2 down.
Set him up with a high fastball and put him away with a low curveball.
So here's Gordon. Ball hit sharply. Reyes. And that'll do it. We're into the 9th. We lead it by 6.
Time brought to you by Miller Lite, and it's our Miller Moments, and it's in the first inning against Marcus Stroman. He gives up an opposite field base hit to Abreu, and then Viciedo squibs it down the line. This also drives in a run. And then it's Connor Gillespie with an RBI double, and it finishes off with Jordan Danks an RBI single. 5 runs in the first, driving Stroman from the mound, the most unhappy young fellow. And Daniel Webb comes into the ball game. He's on to finish it out. 5-3, ERA 3.74, 43 strikeouts in 53 innings. And Leary Garcia comes in the ball game in right field.
Kawasaki, 2 for 3. With a run scored, we'll start it off. Takes first pitch strike. Oh, and 2 the count. That's the final now. Angels beat Texas 5-4. So the Angels within 1 game of the Athletics. Brady will take it himself for out number 1. They'll bring up the switch hitting shortstop Jose Reyes, who was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Count evens. If you're just tuning in, they scored 1 in the first. We scored 5 in the first. They scored 3 in the second. We scored 1 in the second. We scored 5 in the fifth. They scored 1 in the sixth. It's 11-5 Sox here in game 1 of this 3-game set. And the 6-game homestand. We'll have 3 with these guys. Finish it off with 3 against Baltimore. Big on.
A good fastball, good slider, good straight change, 3 different pitches, and striking out a pretty tough hitter.
So here's Cabrera, 1 for 4. That 2-run homer, his 15th. That was in the second inning. And when this ball comes down, the first game of this 3-game set will be over. So the Sox win it 11-5. And Steve, what a nice bounce back after those first couple innings by Noesi.
Looked like he was going to leave this ball game early. It didn't work out that way, and then his teammates certainly helped him by putting a whole lot of runs on the board, and Hector getting very close to the 500 mark. So it's a bounce-back year and a bounce-back night for Hector Noesi.
And let's check out our GMC professional-grade players of the game. They are Jose Abreu and Javi Guerra. Abreu, 3 RBIs. He now has 89, and Guerra, what a job he did. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director, Jim Angie, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Dave Ross, for our technical manager, Mark Harper, for the mayor, and Joe Groove, also the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., and for Mike Sullivan, Paul Carey, Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, Frank Leone. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.